Hello and welcome back to the Pub Test Podcast. It's your boy Fletcher and Tommy C. We're on Zoom call today, unfortunately. So hopefully my
Making your Zoom
has a
debut,
different
Fletch.
Zoom date. Back to COVID.
Yeah, this does feel like peak COVID, doesn't it? But yeah, the first one worked all right with Riley. So hopefully you sound just as good as Riley did. Well, that's very hard to do just quietly. So a bit of a shorter one, as we talked about last time. So we've got 38 minutes
Yep,
to pub one. So I'm gonna get straight into it, Fletch.
we got to speed through this. So this is the not the All Australian one that's coming out very soon, but the round 14, no round
Yeah, it
13,
was 14.
14
It
wrap
was
up.
14.
Um, Winners and losers, some big stories, I reckon, and some tips for next week and be a super coach too, which unfortunately Clayton Oliver um, has already killed us early.
We don't want to talk about Supercoach after that, Clayton. Oliver. We were adamant. It was back 2 weeks ago. Goodwin's like he will play 2 weeks ago, but clearly the bloke doesn't shower. He got an infection, and he's going to miss another week. So that had absolutely killed that decision to hold Clayton Oliver, which I thought was a very good one a couple of weeks ago. But
Proving
well,
not to be.
no, it's not. But yeah, the less about Supercoach, the better, Fletch. But yeah, Fletch, give us a winner, I reckon.
Yeah, we'll start off. We've got one winner between the two of us, and that's Port. Massive winners. So got shot in the foot early. Cats came out to a big lead, and then Port just reeled him in slowly. In the third quarter, said, "Yeah, we're better than you," and just trampled on them almost, and then just kept going the last fourth quarter. So they were massive winners, in my opinion. And it wasn't like a Bunners Rosé game. It was just everyone contributing to that team win. So that's been fantastic because it seemed like last probably 5 6 weeks there's been Butters just gone off. So I'm really pleased about that. They just keep going from strength to strength, and to dismantle a cat side like that, um, with that many goals in a row is just unheard of, almost, in my opinion.
That was a scary third quarter. I think it was like a 17-minute period, to be honest, where their pressure rating was like, I think from reference 180's average, their pressure rating was like 263. Like it was some of the highest numbers that you will ever see. And it was beyond belief what was happening, and they are scary. And I know Geelong aren't the same team that we saw last year. They did lose Danger. I'm not sure when Danger got injured, to be honest, but that was scary. And Cameron had no impact. I know Hawkins kicked a couple early. I think it was Geelong Smalls that they were really, really good early. Rowan, scary quarter footy Fletch, and they are the real deal. And if they weren't to know, yeah, that was incredible. And I think it's 11 in a row. So, yeah, fair play to them. That was unreal. But yeah, shit.
They are going to be a
But
scary proposition at the end of the year.
they are. You don't want to play them in the first week of finals, Adelaide Oval, that's for sure. They look like they'll probably finish top two from here. So yeah, Adelaide Oval, that's a scary proposition for any side. I'm still not too worried about playing at the G personally. Maybe that's me being a bit of a biased Collingwood fan. The jury's still at the G. They don't play at the G enough, so we don't know how good they're at the G. But yeah, don't want to play them Adelaide Oval, that's for sure. So yeah,
Agreed.
losers. I think we only had one winner. The other ones there weren't really any obvious ones. Richmond were a big winner as well, but we want to try and save some time. Plus I want to talk about Richmond quietly, but losers. I have to talk about this team, and it's the Gold Coast Suns. They're not the biggest one. The biggest one you'll cover in a sec, but um, that third quarter or second quarter,
Yep.
second quarter
Yeah, second quarter.
was was inexcusable, inexcusable. Now granted, I don't take any credit away from Carlton. They were good. Like that first quarter, they were bad, and it was concerning. They were very good second quarter. But I'm just a little bit wary of some of the stats they got from that. They kicked 9 goals from centre bounce, which is unheard of.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how sustainable that is, but they're playing better footy. But this is about Gold Coast and how shit they were. They have too many passengers, Fletch. They have too many passengers. We talk a lot about how good their top end is. The Andersons, their Rouse. The coaches come a long way this year. Ballard and Collins are very good. Ben King's very good. They've got too many passengers. Their worst 6 or 7 suck. And it just seemingly it's a pattern where they take a step forward, like, okay, they've announced themselves that they're going to contend for finals very soon. And they just go to shit and have a stinker. and they did travel to Darwin. So like, but then they had a buy, so that excuse kind of goes out the window when they have the buy. I know the buy does tend to hurt people. That first week back, it tends to start off slow, but yeah, no. Carlton have lost 8 of 9. That you can't be doing that, to be honest, Fletch. So
It makes
yeah,
no
it just
sense.
seems
I
like
don't.
that.
They should move up to Northern Territory, honestly, because they play better there. But yeah, as you said, a buy. I it makes absolutely no sense. It happens every year. You think they've turned a corner. They're a new side. They beat Geelong early in the year, and they beat the Dogs and Adelaide consecutively. And you think, oh shit, they've turned the corner. Here we go,
Yep,
and they just failure. They failure. So, oh, it's just incredible. It's
it
it's
makes no sense.
it's frustrating though. Like as a no, not many Sun supporters out there, but as a football club, it's got to be like, when's this actually going to be a real thing instead of just almost an idea or
Yep,
um, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
and
I mean,
their record post buy is disgusting too, Fletch.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like next 10 weeks, it's going to be the story. Every week could almost be them the story if they lose.
Yep,
Like if it doesn't go well, I mean, they're in serious trouble, aren't they?
it's just a
Especially Stuart
trend.
too.
Like it's a trend that Stewie Doo's in trouble. They lose a few. They lose a bad. Have a bad loss. Stewie's in trouble. Then they string a couple of good performances together. Okay, no, Stewie Doo's the right path. He's the right man for the job. Then they have a really bad loss like this, and like, okay,
Yep.
Dimmer, Ken Inkley. Like it just seemingly it's a circle. And as we talked about before, they're 9 and 35 off after buys in the past 3 years.
It's incredible.
Well, past like 4 years.
That,
That's legit. That's not one week. That's not 1 year of that. That is 4 years of shit after the buy. So if that happens this year, like it just seemingly I can't say way out because it is the AFL whole AFL world needs them to be good.
yeah, correct.
We've seen GWS good, and we've seen the big stride GWS. They could have been a big winner from here as well. Gold Coast haven't. So we AFL world just needs to see Gold Coast be good, and
Definitely.
they just show signs, but they're just not. But that'll be an interesting case. The biggest loser, Fletch, has you. Yeah, take it away.
Freo. Freo is the absolute the biggest loser. What can I say? What can you say? In like they start off the year shit. All right, you go, "Oh, that's fine." Or you don't go say that's fine, but they then change the game plan, and it seemed like things were picking up. They were working in the right direction, and then after Richmond last week at home in the wet with a lead, you'd probably say get that over the line if you're a good side, if you're top 8 side, and then this week
Yes,
come out and get absolutely pants. Like we probably should have put GWS as a winner of a week, but it's like GWS, we don't expect them to be in the 8. We don't expect them to be anywhere near the 8. And yet this
yep.
team that we're expecting to be almost top 4 or pushing for top 4 has absolutely been mauled and ripped apart. I mean, I watched the game and I would have said Fremantle's a bottom 4 side. If you're just looking at this purely from this game and making a judgment, you'd say Fremantle's a bottom 4 at least side, and JWS were a good side. So this is just uh, kind of scary where they see their football club going. So
And I can't believe it. You've been very critical of David King putting 304 in his rankings a few weeks ago. And I think the AFL world kind of thought, okay, they're gonna make they're good chance of making finals from here. I don't think anyone had them 4. I think you're an idiot having them 4. But they kicked 2 behinds in the first quarter. They kicked 3 in the second. I said, okay, 1 goal, 1 goal. That
yeah,
is like I know you're playing away, but you're playing a side that was nowhere near was not going to challenge finals versus a side that, as you said, on their home form alone, we're going to push for top 4.
yep, agreed.
And we thought again another team that we thought they might have turned the corner, started playing some aggressive footy, but they were soulless. They were genuinely soulless, and I think finals looks very hard from here. The draw's not great. This had to be a game they banked. I don't care you're playing away. This had to bank this win, and they didn't. So yeah,
The amount of times I saw Jervis just walk through the corridor with 2 and 3, the orange tsunami, um,
yeah,
was incredible. But it wasn't like it was orange tsunami of just constant waves. It was just like there was one wave because they only needed one wave. They didn't need constant. They didn't need 4 or 5 handballs to create overlap. Just needed one handball, and then they have overlap, and it's just like you can't have that. Like
Yep.
it was just like, where are you? What's going on? So
Yep.
they from a team that had such a good young midfield at the start of the year and late last year, they're going to be asking questions. And where are they?
Have to.
Where is this club going? Seriously, like
Have to. Have to. No, you're right. And they miss Sean Darcy. They miss Sean Darcy. Luke Jackson, a lot of money. We know he's a ruck first. They miss that big bear in Sean Darcy.
yeah,
So his contract got a bit extra 100K added on from these last couple of weeks. They missed him. So yeah, I don't know where they go from here because I thought I didn't have them making finals that the year, and that was a bold call. I think after the last few weeks, well, a few weeks ago, heading into their bye, we kind of thought, okay, turn the corner, they'll make finals from here. They'll win enough games at home. They only have to win the odd one away from home, but this again had to bank. JWS had to bank it. So JWS still thought to be a winner, Fletcher, either. We don't have a lot of
yeah.
time, so we can't talk about them, but we'll come back to them if we have time. But they were unreal and sneaky finals? Question mark.
Surely not. But they're going to put in themselves in a position where they need to win games, which is interesting because they shouldn't be because they need those sharp picks. But um, they've still got a really good young core, old core.
They're, they're a game outside the eight,
I know it's
but
incredible,
that
isn't
but
it?
they had the bye this week though, so they're technically two. Although Adelaide's going to lose Collingwood, so they probably don't make finals from here, but they're winning a lot more games than their
Um,
season's going to be a pass mark. It's going to be a pass mark, so fair play to them. Some news stories, Fletch. Now, I want to introduce it because these are your boys, the Dogs. Now they did get the win, but I am concerned. Now, I'll throw it to you first how you thought the game went, and then I'll talk to you why I'm very concerned about the Dogs.
fair, fair. The
Now,
game was it was good.
how'd the game go?
It was a good game. It wasn't a good game, actually. No, it was a good game for a supporter because we got the dub. But um, I know what you're going to touch on, so I won't touch on it. But the Dogs cannot score for shit. This 8 midfielders, I would say, is holding this team together in a top 8 position, which I'm going to sit on the side of optimism and say this is really really good. But I know from the other side that you're going to talk about the defense. But I'm going to talk about the forward line. They can't score for fucking shit. Like let's call a spade a spade. I think they had about 60 inside 50s, only scored 105 points. And Cody Wade had to kick 6 goals. So, um, yeah, nervous time for the Dogs. If they could fix out that end of the field, I think they'll be somewhat of a contender. Not really, but somewhat there. But yeah, just literally hands on knees to the midfield, to be honest with you.
Yep. Okay. Now the reason why I'm concerned, Fletch, we've talked about your defense all season. Now, I think it's literally been a Russian roulette of key defenders outside of Liam Jones. Now Liam Jones out for 8 to 10 weeks, so that's a concern in itself. But you conceded 84 points against one of the worst sides in the comp with only 36 entries. That cannot happen. 12 marks inside 50. That cannot happen against any team, let alone one of the worst sides in the comp. And I am seriously concerned that the wheels will fall off from a defensive standpoint. And I'm concerned the Dogs don't make finals from here. I'm concerned. Now, what will get you to finals is I still like look at Jamara. I think he didn't kick a goal on the weekend, but I think I've liked this season. We know Rory Lobb's he's a passenger,
Oh,
but
fuck.
I think a lot of that comes down to he's been playing. He's a third tall. It's not helping, but
Nah, but
um,
he they brought him in to be a tall, and they're playing him in the wing. That is
yeah,
literally
it's not helping.
saying we're just not gonna drop him because we brought him into the side. That's what that's saying. You're not pushing
Yes,
Jamar in
I
the wing, you're pushing him on the wing.
no, you're not.
That's how bad it's got.
Correct. So I'm worried that like you have got enough players to fill the void, but are they good players?
If this was
I'm
a
worried.
video medium, I was just shaking my head. I'm really nervous. Ed Richards is out too. I think it's almost the two best defenders in our side are out at the moment, and we're already
Yeah,
shaky there. Um, Gold Coast had when we versus Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago, which we lost obviously, had 48 entries to our 66. Um, Geelong were just the same. Sorry, I'll get this stat up for you now. Geelong had 47 to our 51, and then I think Port beat us by 3 in the injuries, and every game we lost by over 20 points,
Yeah,
except for the Gold
it's
Coast one, which we lost by 7. So I mean, good, you got to win against North Melbourne, but like do that against a good team, you know.
yeah, no, it's concerning. And I think like 36 entries for 84 points just shouldn't be happening against one of the worst sides in the comp. And yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried. I still think their midfield and forward line should be good enough to make finals, but yeah, I feel like it's going to take some sort of ridiculous performance from a Bont or
Yep.
a Libba for it to happen. Waitman's not going to kick six very often. So, yeah, I'm concerned, Fletch. But
Oh, totally. They're not a guarantee for finals. They're probably a 6% chance of finals, in my opinion. Um,
yeah,
that's where I kind of see them at.
yeah, I haven't got the schedule here to analyze. We don't have enough time to run through them, but
Nah.
I still think they're good. They've got the firepower, but their spine at each end is concerning, and that
Yeah,
is a problem.
but it's like their
So
spine's good. I just don't know if they're maximizing their spine because they've gone through enough pieces with their spine to say they're good enough. Now we've got to maximize some of that spine, in my opinion. So
yeah,
maybe fall on maybe a bit of strategy or coaching later on. I think it's going.
Buy's coming at a good time. Buy's coming at a good time. Get a week to kind of plan how it's going to look from here. So the buy's probably come at a good time for the Dogs. So they're an interesting watch. Now you said you had something to talk about with Richard Gunston. So the Lions, well, Faden coming out and saying they dropped themselves, and then Friday he said no, we're going to drop them anyway. You had something you want to say, so hit me with it.
It's the closest thing to a mid-season retirement I've seen. L-
Mid-season retired.
Let's be honest here,
I didn't
they're
think it was
retiring
going
at
to
the end
go
of the
that
year.
big. Breaking news: Fletcher retires. Lions grades.
Am I wrong? They've got no confidence left in their playing ability or body or whatever to sit there and say, I'm good enough to play every week. They're not saying, oh, this week my form will change. They're saying, I need to go somewhere else to do something to get back in form. And I think that almost says they've passed their prime. They obviously passed their prime, but past AFL standard.
Yeah, they are. Like David King's made a big point of Daniel Rich, how much of a liability he's become. That we always knew he wasn't the best defender, but he's just too slow. And I'm just not sure that they've apparently they've been dropped to do a training block. So we've seen that those training blocks happen before, but the Danger did one last year. But we know Danger's good. Like, he did that for fitness. I'm not sure a training block's going to fix Daniel Rich being slow as shit.
No, and
Um,
it's not like they had an
yeah.
injury. Danger had an injury to get a training block in and then increase his fitness. They're just purely not in form and probably don't have the confidence to get back in form, in my opinion. Like they
Not really
know
good
they're
enough.
done,
Not really good enough.
literally, or not what the team
Uh,
needs either.
no.
Like,
I think Gunston, still has a role to play. I still think that third tall. Problem is, he's. I know he's a third tall, so you're not expecting him to kick 40 goals. But he's. I'd love to see his stats. They're not good. Daniel Rich is the one. Right, I just don't think they need him. I think. You got Kadeem Coleman, who I think is. He's also a defensive liability, but at least he's quick. And I think Dane Zorko could go to half back. I would
yeah,
like to see Dane Zorko half back. I just don't think they need Daniel Rich. So I feel like if he gets a game, I think it's because he's a champion player, not
yeah.
because he's needed. I see Gunston slotting back in. But to be fair, the young guys that came in did a
Rainer's
job. They
Rainer's
made it
kind of
look
taken
quicker.
his role though. Rainer's
He
kind of
has. I
taken.
don't think they need. You're right. You're right. And Jasper Fletcher looked good. Kai
Yeah,
Lohman, I haven't watched him, but all I've seen is Brisbane fans saying how much they froth the kid. So apparently they want to sign him up instantly. So he looked good, and the first time I got to watch him, but they don't really need Gunson and Rich. So I just can't see how they just come back in. But just cause I feel like they'll be getting games because they're past, not because they're required now. Um,
the
yeah, for
second
me,
thing I've
Daniel
got
Rich.
on this, that Chris Fagan's been very strong in his denial of the MCG hoodoo. and
Mm-hmm.
which is fine because I understand I'm not really big on that sort of stuff because of the fact that they're looking over a 10-year span when the playing group has changed half a dozen times. But this is kind of one more thing of denial, almost saying, I'm not going to drop you because you're a champion player. I'm not going to drop you, even though there's evidence aren't good enough. I'm not going to drop you. Like it's almost denying the truth of what's going on. And maybe those tough calls, because their list says they should have a premiership or very close to one. Maybe they're not making the tough calls and denying those things and backing their players in too much, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess you could say.
Are
Double
you
sided
saying
sword.
he's not hard enough?
Yeah, he's not looking at the picture and taking for what it is instead of trying to find excuses for what's going on.
I think it's a valid statement. Like we've seen other coaches this year, Can he drop the captain?
Yep, and
Can he
hasn't
come out
brought
and
him back in.
say he dropped it? He hasn't brought it back in. Like he hasn't walked back in. Been playing Neeful or
Sample.
Danful. There's another example I can't remember off the top of my head. There was another example of it as well. So you're right. The fact that he came out, he changed his tune that was a bit weird to me. On Monday when it came out, I'm like, I believe that. I believe that. And then he comes out on Friday and says, no, no, we told them we're going to get a game anyway, and they kind of accepted it. So I was like, okay. So so he lied. He
Yeah, what's
lied.
going on? And
He
how many
lied.
times have we heard him
So
back up a Joe Danaher for not putting pressure on, say Joe's got a sore shoulder, or how many times have we
correct.
heard him back up a story, which is fine. But when it comes to selection, are you making the honest right calls for the team or for the player? You know what I mean? So, and I think we know the answer with this one here.
Correct. And I'm not saying what they did was the wrong decision. I'm saying the way
No.
they handled it was not was a bit soft.
Yeah, it was a bit interesting. It was yeah, very interesting. Swans. Do you
Well,
want to
there
talk
you
about
go.
Swans and Geelong? The two
But,
finals
um,
finals from last year?
yeah, bizarre. I mean, we will quickly touch on them. Bizarre, especially the Swans. I think the Swans, they're not playing finals. Obviously, they're 15th. They're not playing finals.
No.
I mean, they were playing Brisbane at the Gabba, but I don't think Brisbane played all that well to beat them. Wasn't a stellar Brisbane performance. Swans just, yeah, went out with a whimper. And Geelong, they ran into Red Hot Port Adelaide, and they looked good in the first quarter. Concerned that they got overrun to that. We haven't seen Geelong dominated like that in a long, long time. Like even round one, I lost to Collingwood. I guess that's the one I go to because I was a Collingwood fan. We didn't look like that. What Port Adelaide did,
No.
and you can put it down to Port Adelaide were amazing, but you just don't expect a side like Geelong to get like dispatched like that. They got mauled. They got mauled, and maybe Port would have done that to anyone. So it's maybe a bit unfair singling the Cats out. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. They got beaten up the midfield again, again.
Yeah, and that's I mean Paddy out again. Like
Yes, it looks like he'll play next week, which is good. Apparently they're kind of like managing him tonight this week. So apparently he came out and said he will play next week, which is good. Apparently he had like some partially collapsed lung or something.
yeah, that's what I thought.
How the hell are you back next week then?
I thought Chris said
I'm
he's
not a
not
great living
playing.
anatomy. He's not playing this week. He's back next week.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So, but and Jeremy Cameron has fallen off a cliff. Now I'm not
yeah,
trying to say he's not one of the best players in the comp because he is. He has fallen off a cliff.
yeah,
So they need to find a way to get him involved again because he's so integral. Like he was almost a one man army at the start of the year when they were playing badly.
100%.
So they need to get him going. Tom Hawkins is looking better. They need to get Jeremy Cameron firing with him. So yeah, anything to add onto that, Fudge?
Um, well, the Swans disaster. At no point this year I ever said they look good, which is kind of
Mhm.
concerning for a team that made the grand final last year. Not once have I turned around and said, geez, they're getting their mojo back. They're getting back into finals contention. I've always kind of like, they made the grand final last year, so surely they can win this year. That's kind of all I've said. Geelong's a bit different. I've seen the mojo every now and again, so I'm not really too concerned about them, but I am concerned that their schedule's just going to run out of games pretty much, run out of getting points
Yep.
to make it to the finals. Um, and with the Dane injury, that has, with an already shallow midfield, has really gut punch to that midfield. If he misses one,
Yep.
even 2 weeks, it's going to be tough for them to get even close to making finals and really. They're gonna hope for some major claps by Dogs or Adelaide, um, to make the finals, in my opinion, and probably half a dozen teams, or not half a dozen, two or three more teams in front of them
Mm.
to not make finals, to make finals. So
Their draw's tricky.
very
Their draw's
tricky,
tricky.
very tricky. So it's going to be a tough one for them to make the finals, to be honest, which is
And
incredible.
with
Two
Richmond
finals.
looking good, and with you're spot on. It is incredible. You're spot on. And Richmond looking good. It's really yeah. Richmond, Adelaide, Richmond, Geelong, Bulldogs for two. St Kilda looking actually St Kilda. I don't know. We don't have a long time to talk about the ladder, but yeah, their spot in the eight is not guaranteed anymore. And I
No.
can't believe we're saying that. I can't believe we're
Yep.
saying that 'cause I think Mo said they're almost a lock to go back to back. So, yeah, unbelievable that's how good this season's been. That we're talking about these sides that we thought were top four fancies and locks for the flag, and they might not make finals, and the Bulldogs and the Cats. But yeah, now I almost forgot this. I'm glad you reminded me. We have to do the buys, the
Yep.
buy rankings.
We do.
So we have 10. We're going to give ourselves 10 minutes to cover this, which is to cover 6 teams. Who do you want to take first?
We'll go alphabetical order, and I'll start with Carlton
Okay, let her
then.
rip, please.
Oh, this is tough. I
Have some
shouldn't have
fun with
taken
this. Have some fun.
them. My letter grading for them will be a D minus. I'm not going to go absolute Donald. Oh, I could be lower. I'm going
The fact that didn't make finals last year. Where did you have them start of the year?
I think I had them inside the eight. I got convinced to go inside the eight. I
I
think
had an
Riley
eight, I
was
think.
because Riley was really big on saying they would make the eight, even top four. And I said, they
Yeah,
haven't
right,
done
top
anything.
four.
No, they haven't done anything. And so I did err on the side of top four and say they're almost a lock for top four. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go with D because they're nowhere near finals and they're not making finals. Let's be honest here. Um,
Yeah.
their season has been everything that you don't want it to be. All right, that's the only way to really sum it up. They can't score, then they can't defend, and their midfield's not playing well. They've had issues everywhere with the ball movement, not too quick, too slow, not contested enough, too uncontested, not enough pressure. They fix one issue one week and then another one pops up. It's a bit of a landmine, in my opinion. They've still got a very good list. They've got very good players. Injuries haven't helped. So it's, to be honest with you, probably the harder side to sit here and give a synopsis on how their season's been so far because um, you can't point out one issue. You can't sit and say it's that. It's a lot of everything. Their bottom six isn't good enough, but their top six very good. But then we've seen their top six not really perform too. So to be honest, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I don't know where to put them. But just D minus in my opinion.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on a lot of those things. That you're right. When one issue's been solved, another issue pops up, and you're right. It's been a really mixed bag. They've tried to play too slow, too quick. You hit the nail on the head. The concerning thing for me is Charlie Kerno. It's kind of like when they started off, they were 3-1 or 3 wins and a draw, and they were in the flag. Apparently, and he's been a shining light regardless of how bad they've been. The last few weeks, he's dropped off. The kicking woes have hit him, and he hasn't looked the same player, which is concerning because he's been their shining light. To be honest, I'd have him as a D as well. Just nah, D minus. The fact that you can go 8 losses out of 9, and in a patch where I'm not sure exactly what their draw was, but you're kind of thinking they'd win 4 or 5 in a row at one point. So yeah, nah, bad. Cripps been found out, which is concerning. Walsh, his kicking is kind of been highlighted. That's not great for how good he is. And we obviously know how bad Harry's been. So yeah, D minus to me. Maybe the weekend is a sign they might start playing better footy again. And the fact they had 7 multiple goal kickers is exciting. That's only something that they should take some solace in. But yes, they played 1 quarter of footy. So yeah. Now okay, we have 10 minutes to go, Fletch. All
Yeah,
right.
we have to
So
sing through this here. All right, you got North
okay,
Melbourne.
so North, yeah, no, I mean they're playing better footy. So it's hard to tell because they were so bad early on. Well, they had the first few really good weeks and they were so bad, and then they get better again. 2 wins. My worry is where the next win comes from. So right now they're probably we expect them they'll be bad, and they're bad. So right now they're probably a D plus, but they might go winless for next month, and all of a sudden 2 wins isn't enough for the season. I reckon they need to get to 4 for that to be a pass for me. I like the youngsters they're blooding, but D plus for me. Yeah, not a great season today, but they're playing better footy. The last 6 games been combined loss of 18 points.
I'm
Some
putting
players,
a lot of. I want to put a C minus, and I'm putting a lot into the young guys. Yes, I haven't won much footy. Didn't expect that, but I've seen a lot of good young talent. So yeah, C minus, maybe a C. Just hanging on hopes of the young talent. Pretty much, I'm backing in them. A Wardlaw, Sheasel, just backing in that shit.
Yep,
So
fair enough.
um, I'll take Port Adelaide, A plus. Pretty
Sure.
simple. 11 on the trot or whatever it was, 11, 12 on the trot.
11, yeah.
Probably get another one. They're going to buy this week, but I'm sure they'll keep going. And Butters, they're just finding stars everywhere. So, yeah, I don't know. There's not much really else to say. They're just a freaking good football side. Probably top 2 finish, home final, prelim minimum for the rest of this year, in my opinion.
Yep, I think you're right. Their goal now has to be their pass marks are now prelim from where they are. Anything can happen in prelim, so I don't want to say their pass marks are grand final.
Yep.
Now I think it's the A plus 2, even though I had them higher than you boys did. I didn't expect them to be this good. So A plus for me, they are absolutely flying and are a legitimate contender. So no one wants to play them at Adelaide Oval. The Giants. Yeah, good. I mean, 6, 6, and 8. They've been competitive. They're playing some really good brand of footy under Kingsley, and their star players are still so good. Tom Green, Canelio, Whitfield, Harry Himmelberg to defence. About fucking time. He should have been played ages ago. Toby Green, I think he's a top 5 player in the comp. Like they've got their top end is elite. So once their bottom end follows, they're going to be so good. And the defense their defense has arrived, Fletch. Young defense has arrived. So for me, they are probably a B plus.
I'd agree with you there. I didn't think it would be much, and they're one game out of the final. So yeah, B plus. I'm taking that. All right, I'll take the Dogs because I'm a Dogs fan. The roller coaster
Yep.
has continued. I thought it was kind of settling down after the 7 wins. I'm going to say their season's been a C, pretty bang on average. I had him in the finals for me, but it was purely because I'm a fan, probably more than anything.
Mm.
And I held up hope, but I thought they were going to be fighting for the bottom of the 8, which is what they're doing. Their yeah, we talked about it earlier. Midfield, incredible. I'd probably almost rate them as top 3 midfielders top 3 midfields in the league. But their bookends and just their forward 6 and back 6 is just the biggest liability of any competition. Their bottom 6 is really bad. Their top 6 really good. I'd love to see that gap close up. And I think they'll be a lot better football side, but it's going to be hard to see that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yep. For me, yes. C. I had them missing the finals, so I probably should upgrade that to a C plus. Actually, yeah, C plus. So I had them missing the finals. So the fact they're 8 and 6 and in the finals is better than what I expect them to be. So C plus. I'm concerned. We talked about it before. But their top end is top 8 worthy. That's a fact. If they don't make finals, it's because their game plan or their bottom end players. That's the only reason they're going to make finals. Their top end is absolutely a top 8 side. And finally, the Tigers.
Yep.
I mean, I think I had them 4th. So the fact they're ninth means that their season for me is probably a D plus to D. Thing is, they are scary and they're probably going to make a big run for finals, and I'm going to hate it. McQualter has got them playing some footy. He's swung the magnets back to when they were good. Yes, that's the funny thing. He swung them the opposite way. Dusty looks unreal. Cottrell looks unreal. And the fact that that Tom Lynch is particularly admirable. That they're one of the best players. Haven't had him all year. Not going to have him till finals if they make it. So yeah, for me, it's a D plus to D where I had them. But considering the cards have been dealt, it's been pretty good.
Totally agree. Yeah, the start of the season you go, top 4, but then you kind of look at what's happened around their season, injuries, obviously losing a coach, all that type of shit, just putting in the blender. I think they've done a good job to be where they're at. And they played a lot of young kids, a lot of young kids. I think I don't really realize that. And then you start looking at their list and go, oh shit, they're actually blooding a fair bit of kids. So this year's not their year. As you said, they might make a run, and I do totally agree. Scary. But I don't think it'll be this year. But next year, the year after, they're going to be a scary proposition.
Absolutely. They always are, unfortunately. So we don't like Richmond, but I admire their club. So, yes, do you agree? What rating did you have them?
I had them in finals, so I can't do like a C, but I want to do a C because of what's happened during the season. So
Fair
C
enough.
minus. I'll go C minus.
Yeah, okay. Too fair that you had them in finals, didn't you? Okay, 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
fair
they
enough.
were in
Now,
finals, but when I look at what they've had so far, then I kind of go, "Well, you've done a good job," because as you said, Tom Lynch out, so many pieces that they've had to go through. So you can't sit and
yeah,
go, "Oh, well."
fair enough.
We got 3 minutes 47 to get
Let's do
tips
tips
and Supercoach
first.
done. Yeah, I'm thinking that
I
too.
think
So
we do
we're
tips
under
first, and then if yeah, unless I want to do super coach, we can save that for the AA episode if we have to. So, let's do
totally.
tips. So, do you have the games here? Do you want to run through the games for us?
Yep. So GMHBA Stadium, Alphabet Stadium, Geelong versus
Alphabet.
Melbourne.
Shout out Riley. No Oliver, as we'll discuss in depth when we do
Yeah.
super coach. But yeah, Melbourne. Oh, it'll be an epic. It'll be a genuine epic. It always is, and odds reflect that. For me, the Catters. I hope so. The Catters for me.
I'm thinking the same thing with Chris Scott's rev up in the last quarter in that three-quarter time break. I think that we've done a very thorough review, and this will be a game that they will absolutely not lose.
We just poo-pooed them for like 10 minutes, and now we're going to tip them against one of the top four sides. But Alphabet Stadium's a 5-goal start, Fletch. You know the drill.
As I said,
So
30 point. So Friday night footy, St Kilda versus Brisbane Lions. Big one.
Spuds game.
Spud game. I'm going to go with St Kilda as an upset here.
Saints to me too. That Spuds thing, what they do few minutes before the game, is the most powerful stuff you will see on in AFL TV. It's
Totally agree.
unreal. I can't wait to watch that in itself. I know it's not something to be like glorified, but it's so powerful that thing with Gary Lyon and stuff. So, yeah, Saints for me because of that alone. To be honest,
Swans versus Eagles at the SCG.
Swans, but Eagles suck. Just yeah, Swans, just cause.
Swans, Fremantle versus Essendon at Optus Stadium.
Close, boy. Dons.
Yeah, Dons and Freo. Come on, Jesus. If you don't,
It's a good game for you to watch, I reckon.
yeah, that's going to be an interesting one because it's almost guarantees Dons finals and it guarantees Fremantle not
Yep.
make finals.
Yeah, literally, that's a good point. That's a good point. Who are you tipping?
Um, Essendon. Essendon. Collingwood, Adelaide at MCG.
I'll be there, waving my flag around. Collingwood, both teams come off the bye, so that bye thing is negated. I think it'll be close, but a big test for Adelaide. I wish we could preview the game. I said a couple weeks ago, they need to keep this to within 5 goals. They're not expected to win. This has to be close for us to kind of. Their away form is so bad. They need to prove themselves here, especially at the G.
Yep. Need to hang on for a couple of quarters at least, at minimum, probably. Gold Coast, go Collingwood. Gold Coast, Hawthorn.
Gold Coast only gets it Gold Coast.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'm
totally
tipping the
agree.
Hawks.
Totally
That's
agree with
it.
that. Gold Coast too. All right, we've got less than a minute, so thanks for listening,
30
everyone.
seconds or so. We got 30 seconds left. We just got there in the end, Fletch.
Literally.
It gets stressful when it says 10 minutes to go. Like we've got so much to cover. But thank you for listening. Hopefully, it sounds all right. Yeah, stay tuned for the All Australian one that's coming up. Well, yeah, you'll get this on Thursday. So, yeah, thanks for listening.
See ya.